Welcome back to Sunshine State of Mind. I'm Andy, and I love talking about fun things to do in Florida. And today we're going to visit one of my favorite Florida beaches. It's a lesser known place that kind of flies under the radar a little bit, and that's Honeymoon Island State Park. Honeymoon Island State Park is on a barrier island on Florida's west central Gulf Coast. It's just off the coast of Dunedin, Florida. That's a little bit north of Clearwater, kind of near Tarpon Springs if you know where that is, and it's considered to be part of the Tampa Bay area. I like this park a lot, and today I'm going to list 5 reasons why you should come visit Honeymoon Island State Park. Honeymoon Island isn't usually one of the first beaches in this part of the state that pops into a lot of people's heads when they think of going to the beach on the central Gulf Coast of Florida. Most people will automatically think of places like Clearwater Beach first, since that's probably the most famous one in the area that draws all the tourists. Then maybe places like St. Pete Beach, Madeira Beach, Siesta Key, and places like that. So if you like crowds and want a more party-like atmosphere at the beach, and maybe you do, you can always go to one of the more popular beaches. But maybe you're looking for a little escapism on your beach day. Maybe you want a more quiet beach where you can have a piece of it to yourself. You don't want to deal with a lot of traffic. You don't want to have to deal with finding limited parking and then deal with a lot of noisy people on a crowded touristy beach. If that sounds like you and you're in this part of the state, then Honeymoon Island is definitely worth checking out. It's a little bit out of the way in the town of Dunedin, so it's not really in a spot where a lot of tourists are going to be staying, so it's really more of a locals beach. It also has an admission fee to get in, so when you combine those two things, it's away from the tourists and it costs money to go to. You're setting up a little bit of a barrier to entry for some people, so it's just not going to have quite as many people coming here. But if you do come here, especially on a weekday, you might have huge stretches of the beach all to yourself. Now, you might have heard me say the name of the place, Honeymoon Island, and are thinking, well, yeah, of course fewer people are going to be there. It's on an island. Well, yeah, technically Honeymoon Island State Park is on an island, but it's connected to the rest of Florida by a causeway and a bridge, so you can drive out there, and there's lots and lots of parking available. It's not like Clearwater Beach or some of the other beaches in the area where the parking is tight and hard to get and there's a lot of traffic, so it's great for that. And the park is actually right next to Calidesi Island too, which is another great state park that you do need a boat to get out to. And that's another great trip worth taking that I will hope to get to at some point in a future video. But if you do decide you want to get the real deserted island experience, you can get to Calidesi Island from here by taking a ferry or even kayaking out there if you're up for it. For lots of people, when they think of Florida beaches, they think of the popular tourist beaches. They think of places like Daytona Beach, South Beach, Panama City Beach, and Clearwater Beach. Those come to mind, and the beaches near the bigger cities where all the tourists go. And these beaches all tend to kind of look like this. Big high-rise condos and hotels all along the waterfront. Maybe some beachfront bars and restaurants are there too. It's fun, it's very Florida. But Honeymoon Island Beach is actually a state park, so it doesn't have any of that development that just has become part of the scenery over the last few decades. And when you do come here, you'll find very little in terms of development. There are some roads, there's parking, there's lots of parking. There's some bathrooms and snack bars, a few picnic shelters and playgrounds and stuff like that, but that's about it. You're not going to see the giant high-rise condos lining the beach like you will in a lot of other places. It's really mostly left in its natural state, the way it looked before 20 million people moved down here. And there's also a little visitor center too that has a gift shop and a little museum where you can learn a little bit about the history of the island. This is where I learned that it got its name from when the island was once actually used as sort of a romantic resort type place with little bungalows where newlywed couples would come for their honeymoons. So I guess this place was kind of like the first version of a sandals resort. And all that stuff is long gone, but the name did stick. The beach is very clean. It's one of the cleanest I've ever been to be honest. There's a group of volunteers that come out here, I think every day or so, to pick up any litter that happens to get left behind. So if you come out here, you will find a especially clean beach, white sand beach, and it's really hard to find any bottle caps or cigarette butts that you might see laying around some of the busier beaches. On my last visit here, I saw that a scouting group even left some stuff there for anybody who wants to help pick out some litter and make it a little cleaner than they left it, which is always a great idea. So if you want to enjoy a little piece of old, unspoiled natural Florida, Honeymoon Island State Park is a great place to do it. I sort of consider Honeymoon Island to be two state parks in one. There's the beach, of course, but there's also a lot of wildlife and nature on the island. There's a pretty big patch of the island that's covered in a pine flatwoods and has a really easygoing hiking trail that loops around through it. It's called the Osprey Trail because there's a lot of ospreys that nest in there, and it's really common to see them flying around in there, hanging out on the tree limbs, or even carrying fish back to their nests. It's a great park for bird watching if that's your thing too. There's a lot of seabirds on the beach, of course, but here in the Pine Flats, I've seen owls. I've even seen bald eagles a few times. There used to be a bald eagle nest in there the last time I was there. I don't think that's there anymore, but there have been bald eagles frequently spotted in this park. This part of the park is definitely worth checking out, and it's really interesting and an easy hike. But make sure you bring bug spray if you do. That's probably a good tip for any sort of Florida hiking. There's a lot of bugs in there. There's also a lot of gopher tortoises on the island. I've seen them out just kind of hanging around in the grassy areas of the park. They're pretty common. Keep an eye out for them. But also look out for rattlesnakes. I don't want to scare you off, but they are known to be really common on Honeymoon Island. And because it's on Florida's Gulf Coast, Honeymoon Island is a great place to catch the sunset. It faces west into the Gulf of Mexico, so the island's location is a great viewing spot to watch the sunset into the Gulf. It's a perfect way to cap off a day at this beautiful Florida beach. If you're a seashell hunter, this is actually one of the best beaches in the area for finding seashells, and it's pretty underrated for that, so some of those prized finds could still be hiding just under the surface waiting for you to find them. The way this island kind of sticks out along the coastline makes the island act as sort of a big natural barrier that blocks the water currents that carry a lot of the seashells along the coastline and just kind of dumps them off along the beach here. That's also why Sanibel Island in southwest Florida is really famous for shelling. That island is actually considered to be just about the seashell capital of the world. It sticks out at a 90-degree angle and catches all the shells that tumble along the current. Honeymoon Island kind of acts like that too, so if you're a shell collector, this is definitely a beach that's worth a look. And finally, the last reason on the list isn't really about the beach or the island itself, but Dunedin, Florida. It's actually a really cool, fun little town. It's a very charming town that's worth checking out while you're out here. Downtown Dunedin especially is a fun spot with a lot of cool local restaurants, local bars, English pubs, and a lot of craft breweries. Dunedin Brewery is the first craft brewery in Florida, and it's right here. It's still a really popular spot with great beer, live music at night, and an overall really great fun vibe. There's even a little museum here dedicated to the Beatles. So Dunedin is it's a pretty funky little town, definitely worth checking out. Dunedin even puts on a Scottish Highland Games every spring too. That's a major event in town, and it's also the spring training home of the Toronto Blue Jays and home to their single A affiliate, the Dunedin Blue Jays. Their ballpark was just recently renovated too, so if you're a baseball fan, and that's definitely something you could also come see. Spring training is great, and minor league baseball is a lot of fun too. Well, thanks for watching. That's my 5 top reasons to come visit Honeymoon Island State Park. If you've ever been out here, let me know about it in the comments and what you like or even didn't like about Honeymoon Island. It's always great to hear everybody's experience. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll know when I upload the next video.